Yo, how's it going, you guys? Good morning. Welcome to the second episode of the Byte AI show. I'm your host, Dennis Sert. I should get some intro music for this. I'm using StreamYard to get this stream out here, and I'm wondering because I saw some music that they had that you can add as like sound effects, but you know what? I really want my own sort of like rock music to go as an intro. I should think about that. But anyways, yeah, well, you know what? Let's just dive into some of this news and then we can do a few trades on Byte AI um, via the web app. So let's just dive in. Let me get some share screen going. All right. So our first news story of the day, we got two for you. Citi and Coinbase join forces to boost digital asset payment capabilities for global clients. October 27th, yesterday. Wow. This is kind of interesting. This is interesting because obviously we have huge institutions like hedge funds, payment processors, corporate treasuries, right, that are already doing global payments. And from what I understand, I don't do too many global payments, but from the few that I've done in the last five ish, 10 possibly years, I mean, they kind of like make you sell your kidney. I mean, in terms of like the fees that go on top of like wire transfers, that's probably not the only thing that this is going to be good for. Basically, reducing fees for global payments. It's probably also going to be a good precursor for future sort of like retail tools to come about. Maybe when this expands to cardholders, right? So global payments. That's kind of cool. Today, Citi and Coinbase announced their intention to collaborate on digital asset payments, payment capabilities for Citi's institutional clients, and explore additional global clients in the future, further solidifying both companies' market leadership in payment solutions. This is something I've been waiting for. I mean, they say cash is king, but to be honest, I don't even carry cash. I don't. Like the deal, like I sell a lot of things on Meta Marketplace. I'm trying to get rid of like a lot of stuff. Um, and you know what? Like, I don't know that again, like they say cash is king. If Venmo or PayPal isn't involved or Zelle, I mean, the deal isn't happening. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a digital man. This collaboration aims to make transitions smoother and accessible 24/7 for Citi's clients. Yeah, because over the weekend, obviously, many payments don't go through. And so, and what's funny is, well, I guess it's not like incredibly funny, but I mean, I mean, so stable coins, right? USDC, USDT, these are one-to-one backed against the US dollar. You also have DAI, and that's crypto backed, primarily Ethereum. So that's kind of interesting. Stable coins. Yeah, well, we'll have to see about that. Let's go to our next story here. So, job cuts. Oh man, job cuts. Where did I see the job cuts? I had it up here on stage. I'll just pull it up very quickly. I think I reposted it yesterday from Unusual Whales. Amazon announced that it's cutting 300,000 corporate, or I'm sorry, 30,000 corporate jobs. Wow. Wow. It's coming, folks. It's coming. Job cuts. See, I studied computer science. I got my bachelor's and my Meng from MIT in computer science, and I'm in startup land right now. And I don't want to put myself into this, but the fact is, like, I feel like us Gen Z tech inclined people, if we want to make it right, I think we need to read the writing on the wall here. I don't know. It's uneasy. It gives me an uneasy feeling, but what are you gonna do? Robots may replace 600,000 humans at Amazon warehouses by 2033, leaked report claims. The company aims to automate 75% of its operations while rebranding its robotics efforts as advanced technology and cobots. This is your cobot, collaborative robot. I kind of want a cobot. I wouldn't mind a cobot. Just chilling. I mean, I just threw some beef into the slow cooker earlier. Why not have the cobot do it, huh? Why not have the cobot? What a funny name. But that's kind of interesting, though. 600K humans being replaced from Amazon warehouses by 2023, 2033. I mean, because before what we saw was 30,000 corporate jobs. So I'm assuming that's, I don't know, sales, basically in office work, um, software engineering, perhaps. I don't know. But Amazon definitely seems to be really leaning into robots, cobots, cutting human jobs. I just saw this on X earlier from Reuters. Listen to Greg Benzinger explain to the Reuters World News podcast why Amazon had hoped its back to office demands would lead to more people quitting as it begins major layoffs. Yikes. Now that being said, like, how I feel about back to office is like, let's face it, no work gets done unless you're in office. For most, especially if it's like a corporate job, big tech. I had an internship at Apple a few years ago, and in one of the Slack channels, it was solely dedicated to just discussing, like, basically advocating remote work. I'm thinking, like, we're already only coming to office like 2 days a week. Like, what's going on? And then now you see, well, let's face it, like, you kind of see the ramifications of that right now, where I'm seeing a lot of stories where Apple is, perhaps um, not selling as many iPhones. I think they just cut 80% of their production for the iPhone Air. I don't know. Like, hopefully they get back in front, sort of. Hopefully they remain at least the primary smartphone player in the US here, but I don't know, you got to be in office. But yeah, so anyways, it's kind of interesting that um Amazon had hoped that its back to office demands would lead to more people quitting. Wow, folks, they really don't want people. This is I don't know how else to read this. Looks like, so apparently they're replacing the warehouse jobs with these robots, specific, like the ones that are here on screen. They're called Blue Jays, not to be confused with the Toronto Blue Jays, but seems like, they're experts in, like, sorting boxes and whatnot at warehouses, at Amazon warehouses. And apparently Amazon is planning to have these next generation robotic warehouses by 2027. Apparently 40 of them. Now, they already have 1 million robots that are currently deployed. 1 million in fulfillment centers, but I'm kind of interested in seeing what these next generation warehouses look like. And I mean, apparently they're making 40 of them. So we'll have to see about that. You know what I'm kind of interested in? I'm interested in seeing how self-driving cars are going to fit into this. Like, and I'm talking about specifically corporate deliveries and everything, fulfillment. I mean, obviously we see the Tesla Cybercab, deployed in Austin, Texas, trying to deploy elsewhere. You see Waymo, they're already deployed in San Francisco, a few other places as well. But those are ride sharing apps, obviously. So they're competing with the likes of Uber, Lyft. But what about for deliveries, right? Because obviously Amazon owns Zoox. And you see a few Zooxes out there on the streets of San Francisco, but I don't think they're doing any autonomous rides yet. It's mostly just data collection. But yeah, I mean that seems like a big area. I mean, that seems like a huge need that corporate autonomous vehicles could fill. Yeah. So that's Amazon. I kind of talked about this in this article I wrote a while back. Actually, just a couple of weeks ago. I think I wrote it on the 13th, October 13th. But yeah, I sort of talked about this in the second half of it, um, of the article. Yeah, and there's still a lot of fat that can be trimmed. What do you think is going to happen the minute LLMs get good enough to outright replace engineers? We're already halfway there, and we really are. I mean, don't expect that the acceleration here of AI innovation is gonna like wane, because I don't think it is. Definitely not. And yeah, so I talked about in this article, I talked about how when China entered the World Trade Organization in 2001, the WTO, 3.7 million jobs were lost, US jobs. And okay, I mean, so that happened, right? But I mean, we got to see a pattern here, right? We got to see a pattern here, folks. And um yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that the rise of LLM engineering can be analogous to China entering the World Trade Organization in 2001. So we'll have to see about that. The Wall Street Journal. UPS cuts 48,000 jobs in management and operations. Shipper discloses the workforce reduction in an earnings announcement. Shares rise more than 12% in pre-market trading. 48K. The company disclosed the workforce reductions in 2025 in an earnings statement to investors and analysts. UPS says it's well positioned to navigate the coming holiday shipping season, and restructuring efforts have resulted in cost savings of about 2.2 billion so far this year. Wow. Wow. I mean, it's not just Amazon, folks. It's not just Amazon. I mean, Amazon is just the canary in the coal mine here. The layoffs are coming. Yeah, gotta be careful. Okay, well, you know what? That's what I wanted to talk about right now. Um, Seeming as the markets are open, let's go ahead and open up Byte AI. Make sure to download Byte AI. Byte AI isn't a financial advisor, of course, but it is a cool tool. It's a data aggregation tool. And yeah, news sentiment as well as technical indicators. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Well, speaking of Amazon, let's go ahead and add that guy to our portfolio here. I don't know why I added Joby. I wonder what Joby does. Let's just start with Tesla here. Let's take a look. Okay, analysis neutral. Technicals show limited upside without a catalyst. RSI at 54. Okay, so a little bit above the 50. Indicates a neutral momentum stance. MACD is near the signal line. The price is essentially at the upper Bollinger Band with a very narrow bandwidth, implying consolidation and a higher likelihood of mean reversion rather than a sustained breakout. News sentiment is cautiously optimistic with a mix of macro neutral signals and constructive company specific headlines. A neutral stance avoids chasing risk while staying ready to act on a decisive volume driven move. Let's see here. Elon Musk's AI powered Wikipedia competitor goes live after a rocky launch. I like how they wrote so called. I mean, it is called that. So I don't know why they felt CNBC felt the need to add so called. So called Grokpedia, named after XAI's large language model Grok, has been promoted by Musk as an improved and less biased version of the popular free and web-based Wikipedia. Musk said that the launch was of an early version with improvements expected to be made in following iterations. Nice. V0. I love V0s. Just get it out there. Get it out there. Okay. Musk's $1 trillion pay package faces near zero chance of rejection, says Gary Black. Investors should approve or, quote, lose the vision, says Tom Nash. Yeah, I saw an X post yesterday where apparently Musk was threatening to leave Tesla if he doesn't get the pay package. So, yeah, I don't know what Tesla is without Musk. So, I don't know if that's going to happen. Okay, looks like Amazon is underbought. Amazon shows wait, let me quickly take a look and see if we're still ironing out the kinks, folks. Okay. Amazon shows a mildly underbought setup, RSI around 44.3, so that's slightly underbought, below 50. The MACD is essentially flat relative to the signal line, but leans slightly bullish, aligning with a potential near-term bounce. The price sits near the lower Bollinger Band. Okay, so indicating that it may go up. With a small difference to the band and a narrow bandwidth 0.86, indicating a squeeze that often precedes mean reversion towards the middle band. News sentiment is cautiously constructive, highlighting AI, cloud momentum, and AWS growth while acknowledging near-term headwinds from layoff and macro uncertainty. Okay, we were talking about that. The stock has ticked higher today, 0.52%, and has positive momentum for the week and month, consistent with a mild rebound environment. Taken together, these factors support a near-term long tilt and a staged entry to capture a mean reversion move towards the mid-band, with risk controls around momentum deterioration and squeeze risk. Yeah, here's that article we started out with in the general finance headlines. Amazon prepares to cut up to 30K jobs this week. Here's what the company's largest layoff in history could mean for the future. Let's read the news analysis based on sort of the aggregate. So that's what this is here. Overall, Amazon sentiment across the recent articles is cautiously constructive. Most pieces emphasize Amazon's growing engines, e-commerce scale, advertising resilience, and AI slash cloud expansion, and expect favorable earnings dynamics during an earnings heavy period. A notable near term headwind is a large uh, wave of layoffs, signaling cost discipline and potential growth moderation in the short term. The macro backdrop, rate cut expectations. Yeah, tomorrow. Ongoing AI-driven tech optimism and a broad earnings revision cycle support a constructive stance on Amazon, even as investors weigh profitability and headcount reductions. A common macro theme across the cycle is AI-driven upside for tech, tempered by policy slash election dynamics and cautious consumer demand signals. Okay, let's dive into Robinhood, shall we? Okay. Um yeah, so looks like we're in the green today based on yesterday's meta trade. So that's nice. So Amazon. Okay. So what was this? Underbought. All right. Let's throw $200 into there, shall we? All right. Nice. And this is just me doing this. I'm not a financial advisor. Um, Past success does not guarantee future results, and this is not meant to be taken as advice. This is just me. Okay, so that's Amazon. We made that trade. Looks like Meta is underbought, and maybe we'll end it off here. I think we're at 23 minutes. Um, after I sort of go through this, so let's just kind of pile drive through this here. Meta shows a clear underbought signal with an RSI 39. Oh wow, that is quite low for an RSI, relative strength index. Indicating room for upside if a rebound occurs. The MACD remains close to the signal line with a slight bearish tilt, suggesting limited downside risk rather than an imminent rally. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, so the Bollinger Bands is kind of close to the bottom one, but it's a little bit narrow. All right, RSI is kind of a clear slash stronger signal. Not a lot of signal coming from the MACD slash signal line because they're pretty close to each other. Across the provided articles, Meta shows a mixed to slightly bullish sentiment. No negative Meta coverage. Yeah, so this is kind of this stack of news seems to be slightly more general than others. Yeah, I better take a look into this. Okay, what is this? Financial Times. Zuckerberg's appoints a former metaverse executive to boost AI efforts. Yeah. Okay. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Mark Zuckerberg has appointed longtime Lieutenant Vishal Shah to a key role in Meta's artificial intelligence team, the latest in a string of executive shakeups in the billionaire's frantic AI push. The reshuffle comes on the heels of the rushed release of its AI video service, Vibes, which was quickly overtaken by OpenAI's rival Sora app, despite Zuckerberg's high-cost AI talent grab during the past few months. How many of you guys have heard of Vibes? Just curious. I mean, because Sora was, I mean, there was a lot of hype around Sora. Um, Vibes though, that kind of, yeah. I mean, that was kind of lost in the wind there. Hmm. Is Meta turning away from the metaverse? That was such a big thing in 2021. I think that's still like sort of a long term goal, but yeah, I mean Zuckerberg has gotten a lot of shade for focusing on the metaverse. I mean, it seemed like a great idea in 2021, but we'll have to see if the public is going to accept that in the post COVID era. Anyways, I think we're going to leave it there. I'm still getting used to StreamYard. There we go. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I think that's it for today. Make sure to download Byte AI. Byte AI. You can download it at byteai.me as an iOS app, and you can do these trades all day long. You can analyze stocks all day long. You can take a look at some of the headlines. You can also go on the web app, as I was just on byteai.me. Again, it's on the homepage. Okay, folks. Have a great day. Hopefully, you make some good trades. See ya.